Mic check, mic check. What's going on, world? You already know it's your boy SB, and I'd like to welcome y'all back to episode 26 of season 5 of the Roll Up Podcast. As always, before we go anywhere, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to each and every one of y'all for y'all continuous love and support, because it really means a lot to be able to have this platform and to be 14 years in the game and finally being able to say I'm putting my foot to the concrete, putting my best foot forward. It really means a lot for y'all to show the love that y'all been showing. Whether you subscribe to the campaign on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, I just want to say thank you. If you've been following the movement on social media via Instagram and Threads, I just want to say thank you for continuing to helping me spread the movement via word of mouth. I just want to say thank you for allowing this podcast to be a beacon of positivity on your journey. And the reason why we're going where we're going is due to the love and support that y'all give day in and day out. And like Wayne said, I shall forever give thanks like a pilgrim. But before we go any further, you know we got to cover some business first. I would like to extend the invitation, if you haven't done so already, to like, comment, and subscribe to the campaign. We are going to take over the algorithm this year, so help me help you. Follow the movement, like I said, on Instagram and Threads at the Roll Up Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the campaign on YouTube at the Sauce Brady Experience as well. Be sure to also tap into the SauceBradyExperience.com. That's the official hub of the Roll Up Podcast. I got a lot of great segments that are about to get added to the movement, and the one way to not miss a beat is to lock in on the hub. Also, be sure to check out the Sauce Factory and the Spot and grab you some of the Season 5 collection that's available right now. You can use code TRUPOD, that's TRUPOD, to receive 30% off your merch. And remember, if you buy any merch, it automatically gets you an autographed copy of my second book titled You Deserve Better. Speaking of books, you can grab my first book, Here's the Truth, and You Deserve Better, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Whether you're on day 1 or day 421, the content is still very relatable and relevant, and it's going to give you that extra nudge that you need to keep going. I will also be starting a new campaign titled Gaming with Sauce, where I live stream some of my favorite video games, and we also do a Q&A so we can chop it up and connect with one another. I'm excited to embark on this live stream journey, so make sure y'all stay locked in for that. But now that we got the business out of the way, it's time that we get down with the get down. But before we dive into today's conversation, I would like to start this episode with a story about the eagle who believed that he was a chicken. I'm sure you've heard this story before, but if you haven't, you will find that this story has every bit of relevance to today's conversation, and I'm sure you will find meaning in this fable. Legend has it that an eagle fell from his nest and was found by a chicken farmer who raised it in a chicken coop. The eagle grew up doing what chickens do and ultimately started to believe that it was a chicken. One day, the eagle looked to the sky and he saw a few birds soaring through the wind, and he thought to himself, man, I wish I could get that high. But he was quickly reminded by the coop that he was just a chicken. One morning, as he was searching the ground for seeds and worms, something inside of him clicked, and he felt in his spirit that he hadn't reached his full potential. After the other chickens went to sleep, the eagle snuck out and decided to give his wings a spin. To his surprise, his wings were a lot stronger than he realized. The eagle took flight and finally felt the freedom that he had yearned for. Although there are many variations to the story, they all lead you somewhat to today's quote. Don't wait for someone else to validate you. Validate yourself. The most crucial aspect of the journey is understanding who you are. When you don't know who you are, you run the risk of getting pulled in each and every direction, except the direction you need to go. Just like this story that we started the episode off with, deep down inside, there's a real version of you that is begging to come out. And if you aren't careful, if you surround yourself with chickens in the coop, you'll forget that you're an eagle. You will allow your surroundings to dictate your trajectory. It's only when you're reminded of who you are that you're able to live up to your true potential. When you are 100% confident in the person that you are supporting yourself. You show up for yourself in ways that you wish other people would show up for you. Especially at the beginning of your journey, there will be times where the people who you thought would support you won't support you. There's going to be times when the only person you can depend on is you. Do not take the lack of support personal. to the extent that you completely give up on yourself. Taking it personal in the sense that you will always clap for you. You will always be in control of your creativity. Take it personal in the sense that you are in control of your destiny. Because truth be told, you aren't going to walk into rooms where you are fully supported all the time. But as long as you fully support yourself, that's all that matters. Lions don't seek advice from sheep because a sheep doesn't know what it's like to hunt. A sheep doesn't know what it's like to be an independent thinker. A sheep doesn't know that sometimes you have to be the rogue warrior in order to see the vision come to pass. Same goes with your journey to success. There will come a time where you encounter people who don't know how to be alone. They don't know how to form their own beliefs and allow the crowd to dictate what they deem likable or not. But when you're focused on putting one foot in front of the other and being confident in your decision making, you are validating yourself. In case you're having trouble learning to validate yourself, let's dive into a few ways that we can increase the trust we have in ourselves. First and foremost, you have to be willing to not only take accountability, but to accept your imperfections. Nobody is perfect in this world, but the people who become successful in any facet of life have came to the grips about their past life and have moved on from it. There was a time in my life where I didn't make the best decisions, and it caused me to lose faith in myself. It was hard for me sometimes to look at myself in the mirror, but one day I realized that the pity party had to be over, and it was time for me to build myself up. Once I made the decision to forgive myself, I was able to sleep better at night. I was able to approach my work with a clear mind and heart, and the growth that followed was mandatory. We should learn to forgive ourselves in order for us to truly walk in our purpose. We shouldn't beat ourselves up for making mistakes or wrong choices, because that's what makes us human. But to move past that and transcend into something greater, that's the name of the game. The second thing we should do as we climb the mountain is to acknowledge all of our efforts. As we cross off checkpoints on our to-do list, we should take a moment and be grateful for the completion of the task. When people say it's not the destination, it's the journey, this is exactly what they meant. The journey is supposed to take us through different sceneries. The journey requires showers and it requires flowers. But that's what makes the journey worth it. When we acknowledge our strengths, our progress, and our efforts, we are validating the work that we've put in and gain the confidence to continue to make decisions that lead us to where we want to be. Sometimes on this journey, we have to part ways with people, revoke access from certain people, distance ourselves in order for both parties to grow. But as I've said before, separation equals elevation equals growth. Cutting dead, unsupportive, non-reciprocating weight can be tough, but it's those decisions that can help you see that you have to choose you in every situation, because choosing you equals validating yourself. The third and final way we should validate ourselves is prioritizing our needs and encouraging ourselves. It's time that we make this trip about us. It's time that we decide what life we want to live and execute said decision. By prioritizing our needs, we are focusing on the work that we need to put in. In order to get from point A to point B, we must prioritize and be focused on the work that we got to put in. The more we prioritize ourselves, the more we will encourage ourselves. Like the eagle in the story from earlier, we have to be willing to take that leap of faith and trust that our wings are prepared to take flight. Some people never leave the ground with their dreams because they rely on external validation and hand claps and back pats to keep them going. But when you learn to operate without all of that, the success feels different. At the end of the day, as I've said before, the journey that we're on is ours alone. Everybody will benefit from the success, but we are going to be the only ones putting in the work. So be kind to yourself. Be mindful of seeking external validation and become aware of internal validation. Because I hope I said something that was important to you today, and I hope that this message resonates with you. I hope that you lose the taste for external validation and to begin to fall in love with the process by taking the first step and showing up for yourself. As always, I believe in you, and I know you will be able to achieve the impossible. Don't give up on yourself just yet. Keep the momentum going. So with that being said, Be sure to check out the saucebraidexperience.com. Make sure you check out the Sauce Factory and the Spot. Grab you some merch. Remember, each merch purchase gets you an autographed copy of my book. You can also check out my books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble as well. And also, man, roll you a doobie because you deserve it. But before we go, I want to end this episode with a meme that I recently saw on Instagram. And that meme said, if you have a goal, you have a responsibility. A responsibility to rise to that level that's required of you to achieve it. A responsibility to respect yourself enough to go out there and try your damn best. It won't be easy, because if it was, everyone would do it. There wouldn't be so many early mornings, failures, lessons, or sacrifices. But if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. All the trial and error, sweat, effort, and patience that comes with the struggle is what turns you into the person capable of achieving these things that you want to achieve. So stop shying away from the challenge, because it's your responsibility to face it. You already know it's your boy. Y'all hold it down. Peace.